Good morning, gang. How's it going? Good morning, good morning. Mic check, mic check. Can you guys hear me? Good morning, MX Fafo. How are you doing? Morning, Mad Moxie. Good to see you guys. Or good to see you in the chat. So, today, my game plan that I had laid out for the market already played out. So I'm going to walk through some different scenarios with you guys. But these are the scenarios that I laid out. If we held above that 23,400 level, I was going to take longs. If we fell below it, I was going to take shorts. And that's what happened, but I was not awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was thinking coming down to that 220-ish level, and it just shot right through that. Market's been crazy this morning. So, new game plan. These levels down here, if you go to like the 4-hour time frame, you can see there's lots of wicks at this level. At like 2340-ish, 2350 to like 2330, kind of in this area, and then obviously the big psychological level of 23K. So I could see us possibly coming down here. At that point, we'd be so like almost getting to that point where the market shuts down, right? What percentage are we at right now? We're only at like 1.47, so I guess not that far down. It just seems like a huge red candle. So, I don't know, I just feel like we've dumped so much that we are going to get some sort of bounce, and there's lots of support in this general area. I don't know how good I feel about taking longs against this. So I do see areas of resistance at like 23,200. You can see this high volume node here, and then like 23,250. So something like this, where like if we do get a bounce at the open and we start rejecting at 23,200, I could see maybe taking a short there. Or, I mean, if for some reason the market opens super bullish and we reclaim this 200 level, then we could look for longs, but I wouldn't want to look for longs until some of these levels of support are definitely reclaimed. Oops. So that's kind of my new game plan based on how the market played out last night. So if we do open with a bounce, and we hit this resistance area at 23,200-ish, maybe even 23,250. I don't know. 23,200 I can see as the next resistance. If we get some selling pressure from there, then we could go down more. If we reclaim it, maybe the market's bullish, but I feel like that's a less likely scenario. We do have news. I think it's at 9:45 Eastern. Let me pull that up. Yeah, we have manufacturing PMI at 8:45 Central, so 9:45 Eastern, and then we have ISM manufacturing at 10 o'clock Eastern. And then Trump is making an announcement at 2 o'clock. So honestly, my thoughts, you guys, is the market might open a little bit choppy just because it might need to digest this big old move, and we have news in 15 minutes and 30 minutes. So I'm not really expecting a super clear direction, but we'll see. I'll remove my squiggly lines since I drew them on the 4-hour. They don't really make sense right now. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe a move to 2300, 23,200. If we reject, we can take shorts. or if we reclaim some of those levels, we can take longs. But really, I think for me, I'm going to wait and see what the news brings us, because that was a big move overnight. And I don't want to be trying to catch a falling knife. I already did that earlier. If you were in the Discord, you saw I had these levels here. I don't know. Honestly, you guys, like, full transparency moment, I have learned the lesson plenty of times not to catch a falling knife. I've taken so many losses trying to, like, long what I think is the bottom. I don't know why I keep doing it. Like, why do I need to keep getting my face smacked and then just keep doing it? So dumb. So, took a loss here, thinking that I had found the bottom. Thankfully, though, it was only 3 contracts, so it was a small loss, but still, why do I do that? Trade with the trend, you guys. Trade with the trend. So dumb. Mental game is that it will bounce. Yeah, like, I start thinking, like, oh, this buyers will buy because it's such a discount right now, or like it's dropped so much that it has to bounce, right? It doesn't have to bounce. Why do I say things like that? So for me, knowing that I'm having those thoughts of like thinking that, oh, it's so overextended, we have to bounce, and I'm already like trying to find a spot to take along, and then knowing that we have news coming up too, I'm gonna stay patient at the open, you guys. Not gonna jump into any positions. Probably gonna at least wait for the 8:45 news to come out, and then also see if this 23,200 level gets hit and what kind of reaction we get there. That's my game plan. Yeah, Travis, you might be right. Starting to form a little flag again, and looks like it's headed back down. If we throw a little anchored view op on this low, is it breaking below it? Yep, it's breaking below it. So again, zooming out to the 4 hour, these wicks down here, there's one, this wick right here is at like 23.46. And then this one from August 25th is at 23.34. So those are decent possibilities for a liquidity grab and bounce. But again, I don't want to try to long the bottom, because we could also come down to 23K, which is that big psychological level, which has been a big area of support, or a big area of trading. You can see all this volume right here. And that's a big zone. It comes down to like 23,800 or 22,800. So if it doesn't bounce at these wicks here, there's a long way down. I'm not a big fan of taking a position right before the open, but that would have been nice right there, that break of anchored view op. All right, market's open, and we are continuing to dump. Dang. This is wild, you guys. I feel like most of the time when there's a huge move like this, there's some sort of news, right? Like, did I miss something? Craziness. Coming down to this area that I was saying on the 4-hour time frame had a couple wicks. This does not look like it wants to bounce though. My goodness. Look at that selling pressure. Good morning, TT. Nick, you said your best guess would be to place short around 230 to 240 and then add at 270 to 280 with a stop at 300. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. If it ever gets there. I don't know, if I entered around this 23,200 level and took a short, I don't think I personally would let my stop loss go all the way to 300. I would put my stop loss closer, and then if it bounced up higher to 270-ish, then I would re-enter and take a second position. That's how I would play it if it bounces up there. All right, so news, like I said, coming out in about 15 minutes. It looks like it did grab some of those wicks and bounce a little bit. See if we actually get continuation on this bounce or if it continues to fall and go all the way down to that 23K. All right, let's start putting on our ranges that we have so far. So New York anchored VWAP right here. That was a nice little liquidity grab. Was anyone brave enough to take that long? That was not a bad play. I had that level marked off. The reason I didn't is, for one, I've already taken a loss over here from trying to catch the bottom. And I just talked to you guys about how that was dumb and I shouldn't do that anymore. And then also just news coming up. I didn't want to risk anything. But that's playing out nicely. How crazy would that be if that is the liquidity grab that brings us all the way back up to 23,200? That would have been a nice trade. Took a scalp long. There you go, Mad Moxie. Good job. I was too scared. I wasn't brave enough. So just kind of playing out the scenarios, I was talking about seeing how it reacts at this 23,200 level. If we get a bounce from here all the way up to 23,200, I'm not going to like immediately enter short because that would have been over a 100-point move from here, 23.45 to 23.200, that's a 150 point move. That's not the kind of thing that I would be immediately shorting. So I would wait for like selling pressure. All right, our opening range low so far is here. Oh man, you guys, now I'm like, should I have taken that? That's annoying. I always gotta think of the other side of the coin too, where if I had marked off this level and I impatiently entered along, and then it ended up just dumping straight down to 23K and I got stopped out, I would have been annoyed at myself for trying to catch a falling knife. So looking at that side of the coin, I'm glad I didn't do it. But now that it's actually working out, you know, having hindsight, I'm like, dang, why didn't I get in long? I watched that level. Yeah, Mad Moxie. Isn't the pain of the whole shoulda, woulda, coulda thing? That's annoying. That's alright. Those of you guys who have been watching me for a while now have probably heard me talk about how I've never had a no trade day. And someone that I worked with for a couple months as a mentor has asked me recently and challenged me to see if I've had a no trade day. Just because, honestly, like full transparency, patience is something that I'm working on and working on my over trading and all that. So just the ability to like sit and watch the market and not find my trade and being okay with walking away with zero trade, $0, like live to trade another day. So long story short, I've never had a no trade day where I've had a no trade day where I've been traveling and wasn't even trading. But a day where I've like sat at my computer with the intent of finding a trade and I did not take a trade. I've never had a day like that. So we'll see how today goes. We'll see if today is that day. Because my trading plan that I set up for the day already played out, and now I'm like, I don't know, WTF, what do we do now? So I'll be patient, see how news comes out, and that's why I put on the thumbnail that I'll do a giveaway today. Because if I don't have any interesting trades to take with you guys, at least I'll give an account away. Keep it entertaining, keep it fun. You're also looking forward to that day for yourself? Yeah, I feel like that would be an accomplishment for me. And even more so, like feeling okay with not taking a trade on that day. And having my emotions be calm and accepting and like, I made the right decision because I didn't have a trade and I'm good with it. Versus feeling like FOMO, you know? Like on a day like today, if I don't take a trade and then I feel all like worked up, like dang, I totally missed out on it and blah, 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 like that whole self-talk. But taking it a step further, if I can have a no trade day and feel good about it, that would be impressive. I feel like I would have made it mentally, like the psychological side of trading, I would have made it. Yeah, Mad Moxie, one thing you could do for that helps is just kind of take a trade to log a trade. Just kind of flip the account, I guess is what people call it. Take like one micro for 20 seconds, and green or red, you might win or lose $16 or something like that, just so you can log a trade for, you know, some of those, like, you have to trade 10 days minimum or 5 days minimum. I've done that a lot of times. But it is hard when there's, you know, that 20% consistency and you have to make at least $200 today for it to count as a day. That does make it hard. I think there's pluses and minuses to prop firms. The negative is that it kind of makes it hard when you have to follow those specific rules and trade a certain amount of days and hit your consistency targets and stuff. But on the other end, I think it helps with creating a system and some discipline. Because a lot of those things, like being consistent and having a daily loss limit and all that, you should have similar rules to that in a personal account that you're trading too. So I know when I first started trading, I was kind of annoyed with it. Like, prop firms are made to make you fail. But now I realize that someday when I have my own personal account, I'm going to do something very similar. I'm going to, like, cap myself at a certain amount of trades so I don't overtrade and give my money back to the market. And I'm going to definitely set some sort of daily loss limit. So I think it's helped me overall. And honestly, if you can trade with a prop firm and get payouts with a prop firm and like adopt that discipline in your own personal account, I think it'll make it easier, because it's hard to get a payout with a prop firm. So if you're gonna get a payout with a prop firm, I think you can do it in your personal account too. Except for the cap on profits. Yes, true, but I do think it's still smart to set some sort of either trade maximum or some sort of number that you're happy with to be able to walk away. Because there have been times, like when I've traded with Top Step, for example, where they don't have an upper cap limit, you're not limited by a consistency rule. I've definitely had days where I've made like $2,500 and then I keep trading and then I end up walking away with like $500 or something. I don't remember exact amounts, but I've had days where I've traded really, really well and then I've kept trading and given a lot of it back. So I think someday when I have my own personal account, I'll set some sort of, I don't know, profit target or something where when I hit this number, I'm going to lock my account and walk away. Or if I take 2 wins or something like that, I would definitely set some sort of boundary for myself. Old Cracker Barrel, yeah, I think prop firms are a great way to learn. I was feeling a little bit spicy this weekend. I was watching a video, I don't even remember who, and I'm not going to say the name because I'm not trying to like badmouth them, but there was some video about like the 8 hard truths of trading. And this guy, one of his hard truths was that prop firms are like a terrible way to learn. They're only good for experienced traders. And I commented because I 100% disagree with that. And I wrote that. And of course they responded and they're like, oh, look who's trying to get people to come to her channel. And I was like, no, that's whatever. You guys are dumb. But I 100% disagree. I think prop firms are a fantastic way to learn. Because for me at least, I personally did not learn very much with paper trading. Like I learned the basics of like how to use the tools in TradingView, how to use a trend line, how to like use the risk management tool, how to hit the buy and sell buttons, and kind of just the basics of it, but I didn't learn how to actually trade with the emotions behind it and with like the real-time market analysis and all of that. I learned so much better, like 10 times better with a prop firm because I had that emotional buy-in. Like, I had my money on the line. Maybe it was only $50 or $100 depending on which challenge I bought into. Like, it wasn't thousands of dollars, but I had some skin in the game, so I actually took my trade seriously versus prop trading. I was trading minis and like, who cares if it hits my stop loss? This is fake money. I'll just get into another position. But with the prop firm, I was like, oh, I only have $2,000 in drawdown. I actually need to like try hard to find a good position. So yeah, I 100% disagreed with what he said. All right, well, there was news coming out at 8:45. That's why I was just sitting here rambling. And it didn't really do anything exciting. And honestly, when I was saying that I felt like it was going to chop until news, we actually got some great movement. You guys are keeping me on track, reminding me that our opening range is set. Alright, so this is our 15-minute high. It looks like we're kind of starting to reject here. Well, yeah. So this 23,200 level is right up here. I could see this potentially being like a 15-minute opening range fake breakout to the upside and then rejection. I don't think I'm going to take a short off of it though, because it never came up fully to the 23,200. I would want it to come up a little bit higher to this region and then reject if I'm taking a short. This was a strong move at the open, you guys. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm feeling a little bit off of my game. Just because the trading plan that I had for the day already played out. And then now that originally I was looking at shorts, but we have this 150 point move off of the open. I don't know if I want to short that. We still haven't gotten any close. I'm on the 2-minute chart. No candle closure above the 15-minute opening range so far. And we are near this resistance area, this high volume node. Yeah, so originally I was thinking short up here, but now we're getting a candle closure outside of this range. We could pump higher up to like 23,250. But again, I was looking at 23,200 as resistance, so I'm not going to long this either. For me, I'm not going to take a trade, you guys. Definitely could be missing out, but I'm okay with that. The trend from the overnight session was shorts. So that's what I was leaning towards. But I'm not going to short this move right here. That is definitely a strong move at the open. Strong break to the volume. The next news we have is in 9 minutes. Although it's another PMI thing. And the last PMI numbers didn't do anything. Another thing too is I've gotten better at understanding, like being aware of my emotions and how I'm feeling, which I think is why I'm not jumping into a trade right now. I kind of talked to you guys about flip-flopping between longs and shorts because my game plan didn't work out. But also, I'm tired. Those of you guys who are in the Discord know I live in Houston. I drove to Dallas, which is about 4 hours from me. Yesterday morning, there was a wedding. And then I drove home. So it was a really long day. And my husband was out of town for a guy's weekend. So it was just me and the 3 kids on a road trip to Dallas. And my battery died. I was in the middle of like Redneckville, Texas, stopped at a gas station because I needed gas, and my car didn't start when I went to go start to leave the gas station. And it's like 95 degrees in the middle of the afternoon and my battery is dead at a gas station. So thankfully there were some amazing humans at the gas station and got my car fixed up, made it to Dallas, which is where my husband was, met him there, and he changed my battery. So all is good. But yesterday was an adventure. And that might be another reason not to take a trade today and just go take a nap. I dropped the kids off at school, my house is quiet, I might take a nap. Well, I'm glad I didn't immediately take a short at that 23,200 level because it just broke right through it. Coming up to 23,250. And we do have news in 7 minutes too. Yeah, Shez, quite the adventure, huh? It was actually kind of cool though to I don't know, you always see this negative side of humanity and all the terrible news. I don't watch the news because I don't like to have the focus be on how the world is falling apart and everyone's evil and all people are bad. So this whole experience with my battery dying it kind of filled my cup, just seeing how nice everyone was. Like I said, I was in the middle of asked one person if he had cables to help me out, and he didn't, but he's the one who walked around the whole gas station asking everyone else if they had some, and he found a guy, and I was still wrangling the kids because they were all hot and wanted snacks and stuff. So by the time I came back to my car, this guy had driven his truck around and already had my car hooked up and everything, and they were fixing me up. And then this other mom came over and asked if I needed any help or anything. It was really cool just to see everyone come over and kind of help out. It was nice. Aw, that's no fun, Shez, that your weekend got ruined. Well, you guys, honestly, I don't want to short this. So when I came like pre-market and I was talking to you guys, I was saying if it comes to this 23,200 level and it rejects, we could possibly look for shorts. If it reclaims this 23,200 level and goes higher, we could look for longs. So I know we're still on the 5-minute chart, but I'm not interested in shorting this unless maybe the initial balance gets set somewhere up here and we start to see some selling pressure. But if we get a retracement down to this level, I think I would personally be looking for longs. And I'll tell you why. If you zoom out, this is a really big level that it bounced off of. Lots of liquidity over here that it grabbed, and it bounced right off of that. And then we have 2 minutes left on this 1 hour candle. It looks like it's a really strong close. Let me measure it again. This is a 230 point move at the open. So we're definitely getting some movement up. And then if you look at the visible range volume profile on the higher time frame, let me have it populate. There we go. You see these two high volume nodes right here, 23,220 and then 23,260. It could still reject on this one because it is below this one, but it's holding above this one so far. That's why I'm saying if it comes down there and it retests it and moves higher, we could go higher. So for me, that's why I'm not going to be shorting right now. News in 2 minutes, and then the initial balance is set in about 30 minutes too. So tell me, chat, what are you guys trading? I know Mad Moxie said she took a little scalp in the beginning. Shez took a little short off the 15-minute opening high. Anyone else taking any trades so far? Yep. I definitely reclaimed this area. Did what I was kind of thinking. Well, hopefully you guys, even though I'm not actually trading this, hopefully some of my talking through it is helping you guys. Because I know I talked about this level here being a good area for a bounce. And then talking about if it reclaims this level, we could look for longs. And those are both kind of playing out. Definitely not saying that I called it by any means, because it's one thing to be able to see levels, but to actually turn them into profitable trades is a whole different thing. So I get that. Not claiming that I'm an expert at all. I'm happy with the fact though that I'm able to sit here and be patient about it and not have FOMO, because I recognize the fact that I'm tired and I probably would have screwed up the execution for sure. Let's see where we're at on likes, you guys. Might do a giveaway soon. All right, we got 30 people watching. We have 12 likes. Let's get that at least to 30. We got some time too. If we can get up to 40 likes, I'll do that giveaway. I got a top 1 futures 50K account I can give you guys. By the way, if anyone is trading with top 1 futures, they have a promotion right now where they're, with my code, if you use code Krista, it's 5% off more than what's on the website. But it's as much as 60% off of their instant funded account. So the 25K is 60% off. The 50K is 55% off. Like, there's different tiers, but there's a really good discount on their instant funded, which is their straight to funded model. And they added where if you buy accounts during this promotion, you can copy trade up to 5 accounts. Normally it's 3. So if you trade with top 1 futures and you like to copy trade, this is the time to load up on accounts, because after the sale, it'll go back to 3. You're watching from your meeting on a mini screen? I can't see anything. Well, again, news was a nothing burger. This right here, the one that my cursor's on top of, that was the news candle. That's not very exciting. So if you guys saw earlier when I zoomed out to the 4-hour time frame, these 2 gray shaded areas right here, it was kind of like 2 high volume nodes that it's stuck between. It's kind of chopping between right now. So we could reject from there and continue lower, or if we reclaim this 200 level and then break back above, we could be going higher. I think for me, I would wait until the initial balance is set, and that'll help kind of give some levels, see what kind of range we're gonna get for the day. All right, let's go back to the 5 minute. I don't like this 1 minute time frame chop that we got going on here. Looks like we might be getting a little bit of a pullback at this level. These are some big candles, you guys. It doesn't look like much, But honestly, even if you just take a short from here, like where it was, back down to the 15-minute opening range high, that's a 41-point move. So it kind of looks like just a little scalp, but that's a big move. You can make a lot of money with 41 points. So like if it came back down to this New York anchored VWAP, even if we just scalped back to the highs, that's a 106-point move. Jeez. So one thing I was worried about, like when all the talk of September brings back volatility and the summer slowness is over and like earnings season is back, one thing that, to be honest, makes me nervous about all that is we've gotten so like, I don't know, lazy, lackluster, like whatever you want to call it, with the summer choppiness, to where maybe, I'm just talking for myself here, but I've gotten to where I oversize a little bit just because the moves are so small. Sometimes there's an ATR that's really small in the 5-minute, and to make any money you have to size up a little bit. I'm gonna have to go back to trading like 2 or 3 contracts, 2 or 3 micros. These moves are huge. Just so that I can get used to the volatility again, not hit my daily loss limit in one trade because I took my normal size. Our range so far today for the New York session is 252 points. Woo! Still kind of chopping around in between these two levels. I'm adding our Discord link in the chat. If you guys are not a part of it and you're interested, feel free to join us. Only positive people allowed. If you're gonna be grumpy, I don't want you in there. Still getting a little pullback, rejecting off of this area at 270-ish. So longs or shorts, for me, just to let you guys know my thought process. If we hold below kind of this level right here, and the reason I say that is because it's below the high volume node, but I would say I'll move it down a little bit just because this is the 15-minute opening range high and where New York VWAP is. So if we start holding below this level, then I would probably start considering shorts. And then if we get a bounce off of this level, which again is where the 15-minute opening range high is, and New York Anchor VWAP, and start to see some buying pressure or buying momentum, volume, then we could be looking for longs. So I guess another way to draw that would be the red scenarios if we come down here and retest and go lower. That's what I'm thinking, but we also have 20 minutes until the initial balance is set, so we can see how that plays out too. In the meantime, I'll get the giveaway form ready. We got 20 likes and we have 31 people in here. If everyone in the room, in the chat, hits that like button, we'll at least get to 30. Shaw said it. Hit that like button. Shez, are you in the chat still? Are you here? I have a question I was meaning to ask you. Yeah, it's going to be a big range. So my question, Shez, is I think from what I've seen on Instagram, your name is Sheza, but I've been calling you Shez because that's your YouTube name. Do people call you Shez? Or do you want me to call you Sheza? Or am I totally saying it wrong altogether? I feel like I talk to you a lot, so I don't want to be calling you by the wrong name. Okay. I was hoping so. One day when I saw your full name on Instagram, I was like, oh, have I been saying the wrong name? I'm butchering names? Oh my gosh. Some of these names, I feel bad trying to say them. Especially if there's a last name. I'm one of the only people who got it right? Okay. Well, good. That makes me feel better. Well, we're kind of just chopping around in between those levels still. Not quite coming down to the 15-minute opening range high, not dropping below it. So the interesting thing is, like 2 weeks ago, when volatility was so much lower and these ranges were so much lower, it would have been possible to take a trade like here and then put the stop loss below the 15-minute opening range low, just because that range was so much smaller. But now, you guys, the range is so much bigger. So if, I'm not doing this, so don't like copy this, but if I was to take a long there and put my stop loss kind of below like VWAP and give it some room, That's 35 points. So that's a good reason to be patient and wait for these levels to hit. Unless you want to size down like to tiny and do 1 or 2 contracts. Still 14 minutes until this range is set, the initial balance range. Alright, I'm getting this form ready. We'll do a giveaway here in a little bit. Donna, how's it going? I didn't see you earlier. Yeah, we'll do a giveaway. You want the duck race, don't you, G-Man? I feel like everyone shows up for the duck race. It's not because you want to see my pretty face. It's because you want the duck race. Well, there she goes. Looks like the green scenario might be playing out. I think my, I guess, caution in taking a long here is we still do have this high volume node at 260, 270-ish that could be resistance. So this could just be a little fake bounce and then a rejection to go lower. Also, the initial balance is set in about 12 minutes, and oftentimes, like I don't know the stats on it, G-Man could probably chime in, but a lot of times, price will kind of stay within the range. So it could just be getting a bounce off of this 15-minute opening range high, come up to initial balance high, and then reject. Although, now that I say it, with these ranges being so stinking big, even if we just take that little bounce back up to the high of the day, that's 63 points. Yeah, honestly, you guys, I'm going to have to get used to this September volatility again. I'm not used to being able to take what my mind is seeing as like an insignificant scalp and having it be 60 points. I need to retrain my brain to see that that's still a huge opportunity. Because this same scenario a couple weeks ago could have been like a 15 or 20 point trade, and I wouldn't have taken that because I don't like to take scalps like that. There you go, K. George. Look at you go. Love it. Love to see it. Hey, Donna. I just saw you joined our the Discord. Awesome. Good to have you in there. Well, I feel like I have been reading the market really well today. to be totally transparent with you guys who just came in, I have not taken these trades. Feeling a little bit tired and worn down from yesterday. So I'm glad I'm not taking them. Like, I think I'm making the right decision for myself, but hopefully helping some of you guys calling out these levels. Man, if you'd taken this, that could have been maybe a 40 or 50 point trade. I mentioned this liquidity grab down here. That ended up bouncing for like 200 points. So it feels good to be able to feel like I'm reading the market well today. Hopefully I can go take a nap and come back and read it well tomorrow too. Make it a good week. Alright, we got 25 likes. We have 37 watching. Come on, guys. Let's get at least to 30. And I'll do a giveaway here in a couple minutes once we get to 30. We can easily get to 5 more. Let's go. Hulk smash. Maybe don't Hulk smash it, because you might break your keyboard. You guys, I started this YouTube channel kind of as a challenge from Austin with ASFX. I went to his boot camp at the end of May. I think it was the end of May. Was it end of April, beginning of May? I don't know. It was like 3 months ago. But he was saying that for like transparency, because I've been journaling my trades and all that, but trading is kind of a lonely thing. So he mentioned for like added accountability, just start recording a video recap of your trades for the day and post them on YouTube. So that's what I did, and I shared it with a couple people that I knew in a Discord group. And it kind of just turned into this thing. And now Austin was like, hey, you should trade live. That's even more accountability. So I started doing that. And you guys, it's kind of exciting. I have 920 subscribers. I never expected that. I kind of just thought it would be for me, like adding some accountability for putting myself out there and like showing you guys the full good trades, bad trades, blown accounts, like payouts and mess ups and all that. Just kind of trying to share my journey as a beginner. But I'm starting to get messages from people who are like, I've been improving my read on the market with volume profile. I'm learning so much from you, or like my discipline is improved. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. Just by sharing my journey and the things that have worked for me, it's fun to be able to help other people too. It's cool to see how this has come from like not knowing anything about YouTube to now I'm like researching how to improve my sound quality. I got some like those little foam pads to put on my walls and some curtains and a rug to help with like echo in my office, because I have this echo chamber in here. You guys can probably hear it. The sound is not great. Just learning all this stuff, it's fun. All right, 5 minutes until the initial balance is officially set. I do have the line up here. Yeah, still kind of chopping around the high volume area. We could potentially take a long here, which would be right at the 15-minute opening range high and the anchored VWAP for the day. I could see it coming back up to at least the initial balance high. Mama Tick. So I have been trading since September of last year. So it's coming up to about a year now. It was like middle of September. I think it was September 18th when I bought my first prop firm account. And I pretty much started with prop firms because if you guys were listening a couple minutes ago, I was talking about how I didn't really do well with paper trading. Like, I didn't really learn much. So that was kind of the beginning of my trading journey. Where did I learn to trade? Just YouTube University, I guess you could call it. I didn't like buy any specific courses or anything like that. I just watched countless YouTube videos. And honestly, I looked at every strategy. Like, I've looked at Fibonacci and EMAs and like when the 20 crosses the 200 and trend lines and all that stuff. But I found a couple things that kind of made sense to me. So volume profile, 15-minute open range, and then the 60-minute initial balance. Those things kind of just made sense when I watched the videos and then like looked at my charts. My brain could kind of see those. So once I found some things that made sense to me, then I started to narrow down my YouTube searches to that and watched like every video I could find on the 15-minute open range and how to trade it. And then every video I could find on the 60-minute initial balance and how to trade it. So that's the biggest advice I can say is look at everything and see what makes sense and then really narrow down on that one thing. Like some of the stuff out there with all the crosses and EMAs and like order flow and I don't know, a lot of that stuff, it didn't make sense to me. It seemed too confusing, so I didn't do it. The stuff that made sense, I really dialed in on that. So you're telling me there's a chance? Absolutely, Travis. There's a chance. Yeah, G-Man, I like the idea of fibs, and if there's confluence with the fibs lining up with something else, that's nice. Like if VWAP is right at this fib line, then I could see where that would make sense. My problem with fibs is I felt like it was so subjective. Like, which high do I put it at? Which low do I put it at? And then do you take the entry at the 382 or the 786 or like, how do you know? So that's the part that I struggled with on fibs. YouTube University for the win. All right, you guys. I think, well, initial balance is set in 1 minute. We'll see if we get some sort of rejection up here. We could possibly take a short, but again, I don't like the idea of a short because my initial thought was if it breaks above this 200 and reclaims it, we could be going higher, and that's what's happening right now. So hopefully laying out some scenarios for you guys is helping you. I don't think I'm going to trade it. Again, just being aware of what's going on in my head, feeling tired. I would probably mess up the execution on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the giveaway form in the chat. And we'll do an account giveaway here in a couple minutes. Mama Tick, how long have you been trading? All right, I just put the giveaway form in the chat. It's a Google Doc. Just put in your name, YouTube name, and your email address. Make sure it's a valid email. Type it in right, because if you do win, that's how Top 1 Futures will send you the account. So if it's a bad email, I can't find you. I can't send it to you. So fill out that form. I'll give you guys some time, maybe in the next 7 to 10 minutes. Okay. 3 years, stocks and Forex. What made you switch to futures? I feel like there have been a lot of people switching from Forex to futures in the last, I don't know, year or couple years. I know there was that whole thing with like prop firms getting funky. I don't know the full story. And maybe it's just my circle of people that, like with ASFX, a lot of them came from Forex to futures. So are you a part of that crew? Reliable brokers, yeah. I remember hearing about the whole broker thing. And then also something about how they're not all on a common like exchange. The volume is hard to read. There's not one main hub for all of them. So that can make it harder. Oh man. Well, we had that initial giant move off the open for about 20 minutes. And since then, it's just been chopping between these levels. So really at this point, this green scenario is just playing this range. That's a range play. So I'm actually going to change this. If it comes down here, you can long up to the top of the initial balance. And then potentially up here, if it comes up and like sells from there, you could take a short. Or if it breaks outside of the range, obviously you could take a trend continuation on the retest. But if it stays choppy in this range, it's not a bad range play, especially since, what is this range? Roughly 83 points. There's lots of opportunity in there. A lot of losses with Forex prop firms getting shut down. I've never been through that, thankfully, but I can see where that would be quite frustrating. If you've been working hard to like follow all their prop firm rules and you're, you know, a couple days from a payout or whatever, and then they shut down and you get none of that, that'd be a major punch in the gut. Thankfully, I haven't had to go through that. If you guys are just signing on, I do have a giveaway form in the chat. Click on that link and enter your info. We'll do it at about 9:40 Central Time, so 10:40 Eastern. Give you guys about 5 minutes. Did anyone do anything fun this weekend? Those of you guys in the US, Labor Day weekend, having an extra day off. I know Shez went camping. I hung out at the house for most of the weekend and then drove to a wedding yesterday. Came back late. It was quite an adventure. Battery died on the way there, and then on the way home there was a giant thunderstorm that, like, we were going 40 miles an hour on the freeway because the puddles were so big that if you went too fast, it was like you were hydroplaning. So I made it home alive. I made it home alive. Maria, good morning, how are you? This has gotten slow. Look at this volume, you guys. Huge spike in the beginning of the open and now just falling off a cliff. So maybe that summer volatility is not completely gone, or summer slowness, I guess, is not completely gone. About 2 more minutes, you guys, if you want to fill out the form. The link is in the chat. I'm going to do a Top 1 Futures account giveaway here in a little bit. Top 1 Futures still has their Labor Day sale going on for another couple days. If you guys didn't get a chance to take advantage of any of the sales over the weekend, theirs is still going on. Anywhere from like 50 to 60% off of their accounts, depending on what size you get. But the sale is focused on their instant funded. So if you're a straight to funded kind of trader, they have a good deal going on right now. This is hard to trade, you guys, because we're getting a rejection from this higher time frame volume node that I had marked off. But I personally wouldn't have taken a short exactly from this level. I would have waited until it hit this initial balance high. It never came up there before rejecting. Same thing with here. I wouldn't have taken a long off of that because I would have waited for it to come down to the initial or the 15-minute opening range high. So the range is kind of just choppy in the middle. This is hard to trade right now. $29 likes. Can we get one more? We got 33 people watching. One of you hasn't hit that like button. Can we get to 30? And then if you guys didn't hear me say, we are doing a giveaway. We have, if anyone else wants to join in, I'll give you another couple seconds to do it. We have 17 entries so far, and there's 33 of you guys watching. So if you want to enter, go click on that form that's in the chat. And you probably want your name to be on the duck race because it's a lot of fun. My goodness, you guys. Is it just me, or is this crappy price action for the last, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes? Is anyone actually finding trades in this range? It's kind of ugly. Coming back down towards VWAP. See if we get a bounce here, or if this is going lower, because it did reject this level up here at 260-ish, 270. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, Shez. Like, it's shopping in this range and not actually coming up or down to any of the levels that I would take an entry off of. Hard price action right now. Sometimes it's satisfying though to like sit out of price action like this and then be able to look back in hindsight and say, yeah, that was a good decision not to trade this right there. Coming down to VWAP, it doesn't look like it wants to bounce yet. Like, yeah, that kind of looks like it wants to go down. If this thing just dumps from here, then dang, again, hindsight, not claiming that I would have called this, but that level, on point, baby. I didn't trade it, so not saying I'm an expert. It is kind of cool though when levels that I marked off like 3 or 4 days ago actually play out with current price action. Kind of fun. Alright, let me pull up the forum and I'll add you guys to the duck race and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. Alright, form is closed. I already copied everyone's names. So if you just do it, just enter right now, I won't grab your name. Who's Texas? I just copied everyone's first names from the forums. And someone on here is Texas. Is that really your first name? Oh, that's you? Where in Texas are you? I assume you live in Texas if you wrote that. Where in Texas are you? I am too. I'm south of Houston. It's an autofill because of your email address? Yeah, I get that. South Texas. I'm in, are you in the Houston area? right, let's set this thing up. Small world. That's funny. I got all my Texas people here. There was someone else, I don't remember who, but I mentioned that I was, it was for my husband was doing, my husband and I were doing a CrossFit competition a couple weeks ago in College Station, Texas. And someone on our Discord group said that he signed up for that competition but wasn't going to go because his partner got injured. And I was like, what a small world. Like, I'm on YouTube and I have people from India and like all over the world, Germany on this channel. And then I also have people that are like about to show up to the same competition as me. How weird is that? Wild stuff, wild stuff. All right, who's ready for a duck race? Old Cracker Barrel said he went to the park to feed some ducks this weekend for good luck. I love it. B Frosty's not in here talking about how he was doing some workouts with his duck. Are we ready? Let's go. I got the like slow jams vibe music in the background. I feel like I need to turn it to like pump, pump, pump it up, something like that. All right, on your mark, get set. Go! Dun dun dun. Shez, you got the ninja duck. You're ready for action. I've never played the sound effects before. Did you guys hear that little quack in the background? That was funny. Pretty even race so far. G-Man coming from behind. G-Man has the strawberry duck. You guys are pacing this one. No one's turned on the nitro boosters yet. You guys are smart with the pacing on this one. Yep, winners always come from behind. Mama, take your duck has chicken pox. Not feeling well today, I guess. Oh, Donna! Oh, she fell back. H and T are just like, uh-oh, Yusuf, Travis? Oh, Travis wins it. Let's go. There were like 3 or 4 ducks trying to come from behind at the end there. Travis gets it. Let's go. Travis, send me a message in either Instagram or Discord. Oh, is that not you? Aw, man. Is the other Travis here? I was thinking it was you, Travis in air. All right, the real Travis. Will the real Travis stand up? Let us know in the chat if you're here. Oh, and now we're dumping. Broke down below. So I definitely don't have, I wouldn't say I have FOMO about this trade. And I'll tell you why. I would have shorted if we came back up to initial balance high, but we never did. So I could say we could have taken it on this break of 15-minute opening range high, which was also at VWAP. Like I could have maybe entered here. But then I just would have felt like I was chasing it because I personally would have put my stop loss up above that previous 5-minute candle. And that's a 43-point stop loss. I mean, I know this could definitely go lower. That's a huge range. But I'm not going to say I have FOMO about that trade because I don't think I would have actually chased it anyway. Oh, there you go. Old Cracker Barrel is Travis. Congrats. Send me, Old Cracker Barrel, are you on either Instagram or Discord? You guys were trading while I was doing the duck race, and you didn't even tell me. Left me hanging. Just kidding, just kidding. Okay, awesome. I'll check my Discord messages and I'll get back to you. You can choose, Old Cracker Barrel, you can choose between 2 different 50K accounts with top 1 futures. You can do their Elite Challenge, which is a typical challenge with a 3K profit target, 1 day to pass, and then after you pass, it goes to their funded accounts. That one, just to be transparent with you guys, it does have an activation fee. Or you can do their 50K Pro Sim funded account, which is straight to funded, but it does have intraday drawdown. So let me know which one you want, and then I'll get them to send it over to you. All right, you guys, I think I'm gonna call it there. I'm not gonna trade this. Like I said, I feel like I would be chasing it a little bit. If I'm gonna set an alert here at the 15-minute opening range high, because that's a good level. It's also right at VWAP. If it comes back up to this 23,200-ish level, I could see myself taking a short from there. But I'm not gonna chase it at this point. I'm okay with missing it. Well, cool. I had fun hanging out with you guys today, watching the levels, watching you guys make money, and just kind of chatting about how our weekends went. I will be back tomorrow trading at the New York Open, and then I think tomorrow is the day I said I'm gonna do Power Hour too. Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday this week I'm gonna do Power Hour, just because it was a funky week with Monday the holiday, not trading, and then Friday I won't be going live either. So if you guys keep trading, trade safe, and I will see you tomorrow morning. And I'll see you in Discord. Talk to you later.